What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 9 of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. And today, I've got for you guys a live com doubleheader. I was kind of looking after the last episode at the fixtures coming up, and it kind of dawned on me that we had two pretty significant games in the league back to back, and it kind of made sense to live com them. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The first game of this live com is going to be against Europa Point. They currently sit second in the league, and of course were promoted with us last season into this division. And kind of like us, they've just kind of hit the ground running this year. So that'll be our first game. And then the second game, which is just under a week later, is going to be against Lincoln Red Imps, a team who, well, it's fair to say this year have been very, very disappointing and probably should be a lot higher than where they are. And yeah, this is going to be a big game for us, that one. If we beat them, well, they could be in trouble of being relegated, which would be mad to think, considering, well, you look here, I think they won something like 12 straight league titles. Last year they finished second, of course. But to see them as low down as they are in 6th is kind of surprising. So anyway, there is one game since the last episode, which was against College Europa, which of course was a very, very good 2-1 win. The game that you guys missed was against Britannia, where we won 6-1. And I'm not going to show you all the highlights for this game, but there is one goal that I do need to show you, because when it went in, I enjoyed it. It was one of those goals in FM where you celebrate it like a real goal. I believe it was this one here. It was by Legia. And yeah, it came from this set piece, if I remember correctly, this goal kick. It was a bit of a long shot specialist. I talked about last game how Warren Bright is the option to go with my head. Legia is the option of my heart when it comes to picking my strikers. And here, well, my heart prevailed. We're gonna watch that back, but slower. That was far too quick for my liking. So he gets the ball at the edge of the box, and it's just a thunder bastard. That's the only way we can describe it. One touch, bang. Pick that out, top corner. That made it 2-0 at the time, and in fact I think the score was 2-1 at half time. Oh no, sorry, it was 3-0 at half time, but I mean regardless, 6-1, a fantastic win there. And yeah, that was a really, really good performance against Britannia, who I believe we thumped quite convincingly last time we played them. We did, we beat them 3-0 previously, 6-1 this time. I'm hoping we can use the momentum from that fixture. Granted, it was about 3 weeks ago, and I'm hoping we can use that going into this Europa Point game. So let's get straight into this live com. In terms of the team, nothing too crazy going on. There's still the Sabari injury to our second choice goalkeeper. But Rulli is back now, or Rull. I don't know. I call him Rulli because of the Argentine goalkeeper. I need to get used to saying Rull. It doesn't roll off the tongue in the same way. But this guy, 7 goals in 6 games so far. Back in the side, of course, was injured. We've also got Ben Connolly, who he's been doing okay of late. One thing that I've noticed with our team is, and I think this is something new for this year in FM, if not, it might have been in last year's game. But basically, if you have a team of a certain personality, that can rub off on other players. And if I just give you guys a quick flick through and you keep an eye on the determination of our squad, you'll notice that the majority of them are kind of below 10. They're not great. And as a result, the low determination has been rubbing off on my high determination players. So players like Ben Connolly are actually suffering from having their determination just drop quite significantly. Well, as you can see here, because of the squad personality, which is a little bit annoying. In fact, if we flick through our team, you might notice just general drop-offs in determination. And determination is not an attribute that generally moves too much, except from when it comes to squad personality or an off-the-field event that sometimes affects players. But yeah, not great that. Hopefully over the next few years we can get in more determined players and maybe stop the decline, because it's not exactly a good thing to see in your squad. But anyway, let's get into this first game. As I mentioned, no kind of crazy injuries to tell you guys about. Squad's fairly fit. We're going to be playing a 4-4-2 here against Europa Point. Last time we played them during a live com was at the end of last season, where we beat them, I think it was 5-0. I'm going to tell the players as well to continue from our last game, which was that 6-1 win. It'd be nice if we could win 5-0 again against them this time in a live com. Of course, that live com was back in Division 2, in the Segunda Division. And it's fair to say that both ourselves and Europa Point have really adapted to this Primera Division well. I think the kind of overall gap in skill between kind of the Primera Division and the Segunda Division isn't that vast in Gibraltar. Obviously, it's kind of an emerging footballing nation. And as a result, there isn't that much of a skill gap. Unfortunately for us, Pozzo knows that skill gap, and he's just scored an absolute screamer for them. I want to blame the keeper for the near post goal, but that is a ridiculous goal for them to score. I'm not sure how this is going to look in 3D. I feel like with some goals, you watch them in 2D and they look incredible, and then in 3D they're disappointing. I don't think that's going to be one of them. Yeah, it was quite a nice finish that by Pozzo for them. And yeah, Europa Point getting that early lead. But anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, I was saying about the skill gap in Gibraltar. I don't feel like there's a massive skill gap, which has helped us certainly adapt to this division and is perhaps why we're so high in the league. As Connolly has a chance, the keeper, no man's land. It's offside though. I don't know what the keeper was doing there. That was very bizarre. But yeah, we've adapted to this league well as have Europa Point. But to be honest, I expect us within kind of the first 3 or 4 years to hopefully turn professional, use the TV money from the European qualifiers, even if we don't progress to go professional. And then for the next few years, it could be decades, we should see a skill gap emerge whereby, that's offside, I'm not celebrating it, but we should see kind of a skill gap emerge whereby we'll probably thump most of our teams in our division 7 to 10-0 pretty much every game. This is how it panned out in my FM14 save in Gibraltar. We'll turn professional before a lot of the other teams because of our success in Europe that hopefully we can get, and just the TV money in general, attracting players from abroad. And then what's going to happen for it? It could be decades, it could be just 5 or 6 years. It's a long-term save, this, as you guys all know. But we're going to thump teams domestically, and there won't be that many live comms. But the overall hope is that as we progress as a professional team and hopefully eventually get to the Champions League group stage and possibly lose every game, but in getting there, we raise the profile of the Gibraltarian leagues. That is a weird own goal that we've just had go our way. But we'll raise the profile of the Gibraltarian league in a way whereby we get more and more European slots. It'll get to the stage where maybe 4 or 5 teams in the nation qualify. In the Europa League, maybe there's automatic spots into the group stage. And then from there, hopefully those teams will build upon that success that they get from playing in Europe and use their money to invest in their sides, go professional. And then slowly the league will become more competitive to a stage where eventually we can get the Gibraltarian Premier division kind of into the top 25 leagues in Europe. We will get a TV deal. Now, I don't know if this happens in FM16, but in FM14 and FM15, the Premier division, if you raise the rep enough, got a massive TV deal, and it was about £80 million a season per team. Now, this was back, I believe, when there was only 8 teams in the Premier division, so the money was divided between 8 teams. I know in 2016 now, in this year, they've upped the league size to 10 teams, so maybe that will be distributed differently if this still happens. But essentially what will happen, in a few decades' time, hopefully, touch wood, we'll have this TV deal come in, all the teams in the league will go professional, and with kind of the crazy millions of pounds they get from the TV deal coming in, the league will essentially become a super league, and as a result, everyone's facilities will improve, we'll get better Gibraltarian youngsters, and we'll be able to attract in a load of players from abroad, and that spell of dominance that we have will kind of end, and as a result, you should see a really, really competitive division with a lot of money. And yeah, we won't be thumping teams every day. Anyway, in this game, we are definitely not thumping them. I need to stop rambling on. I need to concentrate on the task at hand. It's currently 2-1 here. This is not good. We do not want to see this. We need a win, really, against this team second in the league, or at least a point. We are away from home, which of course still means we're playing at our home stadium. But I think it does play as a bit of a disadvantage in FM. But this game, we've been woeful. Looking at the stats, I do not remember a game like this season. I'm hoping we can change things here. We've made a tactical change, pushing our wingers up a little bit, want to play more direct, higher pace. We've got some very, very fast players. We've got the capabilities to make more subs, but we've not done them yet. Ruhl might have a chance here. Can he squeeze it in? He can squeeze it in. That is a beautiful finish there. And we might be about to FM Europa Point out of 2 points. A win here would be crazy. I mean, the point here is still a little bit mad. We probably don't deserve it upon reflection. Going to make a few more changes. Roberts hasn't had the best game at defence in mid, so we're going to bring on Munoz, I think, for him. I'm also going to bring on Lee Fenley just at centre back for Bruzon, who is struggling a little bit fitness-wise. But we'll stick with these changes. We've been rewarded with a goal fairly quickly. Sanchez Ruhl getting the ball. I didn't think he was going to score from this angle. Keeper positioning is questionable, but Ruhl places the ball as far in the corner as he can, not with a lot of power. But it does find its way into the back of the net. And with 18 minutes left, I'm going to stay attacking. I know we've been dominated this game, but I can taste blood. I can feel momentum coming our way potentially, although we are going to need to defend this set piece. And Barden going to hit the post. Gilbert just going to get it out for a corner. Part of me wants to go defensive now, but then there's that greed in me. That greed in me that wants the win. And so I'm going to stay attacking. I'm going to go full-blown YOLO and probably regret it within the next 10 seconds. But we'll see what we can do as they are on the attack here. Gilbert, don't give away a penalty, whatever you do. Ball in, Borg. For a second, I thought my left mid had passed that into him. I was about to start panicking. Borg, don't piss around with the ball on the deck, please. Gives the ball straight to them from the kick. Now Hulk coming forward. I assume that is not Brazilian Hulk. In fact, I know it's not. But we've dealt with that there. Guerrero. Now can we break? No, we can't. That is an awful pass. That is the pass of a centre-back who has no composure on the ball. And now, Europa Point on the attack. There is 4 minutes left. Pozzo back post. Scores. And it maybe was a little bit longer than the 5 seconds or 10 seconds that I predicted. But now I regret every decision I've ever made in life for the last 10 seconds. It was all a horrible mistake. I don't even want to watch the replay. We're going to go on overload. Not that it's going to make a difference here. A disappointing defeat in this game, but we do need to bounce back. We have that next game, which is going to be against Lincoln Gibraltar. But that wasn't good enough. That was not good enough. And we're going to be taking on Lincoln Red Imps. And we're going to need to beat them now because Europa Point closed the gap on us to just 1 point. Granted, we do have superior goal difference, but at the same time, that is not good to see. We finally lose 5 games unbeaten previously. Unfortunately for us, though, we've lost that game. And we're going to go forward a week here. I'm going to skip through it so you guys can see the results coming in. It might take a while because we are in the transfer window. We have also got the teams popping up. But yeah, hopefully in that game, although I was rambling a little bit, you kind of understood what's probably going to be happening with the save next from my experience kind of in the next few years. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. When the league becomes a Super League in a few decades' time, that's going to be crazy. In terms of long-term aims with this save, I kind of stated in episode 1, I want to win a Champions League. I think another aim of mine would be, as the Gibraltar national team manager, potentially to try and win a World Cup. I think that would be, not win a World Cup, just qualify for a World Cup. To be honest, it's a nation of 30,000 people, and in FM, the rate at which a nation produces regens, and good regens, for example, each nation has like a different youth production kind of value. I believe it's between 1 and 200. I can't even remember the exact name. But another thing that plays into kind of the rate of very good regens is the population of a country. And because we're a country with a population of 30,000 people, which is essentially, well, a city, we're never going to get like a crazy batch of regens. In fact, probably one of our best hopes will be that when the nation becomes kind of a super league and hopefully we attract in players from afar, there will be players who play in the domestic leagues for a number of years who don't make it in their own national teams, for big European nations. And so they end up, becoming Gibraltarian citizens. And as a result, they'll play for the national team after. I think it's 3 years to get nationality, but it might be another 5 years on top of that, and 8 years residency to actually play in the national team. But either way, that's kind of a potential thing that we might see happen in this save. Obviously, as I mentioned right at the start of this save, it is a very, very ambitious save. But that's part of the fun of it. As much as we are playing very well at the moment and it might feel like we're progressing quite quickly domestically, which is kind of to be expected given the smallish pool of players and the limited talent, this is only kind of the first chapter, really, of what will be a massive, hopefully, kind of series as we catalogue, I guess, our progress through this kind of save and this kind of adventure that we're going on. But anyway, I'm going to change a few things for this game. Unfortunately for us, Drimmy did pick up, I think, an injury even that game or just prior to that game. So we're going to make some changes. Ballantyne going to come onto the bench. I'm going to play Legia in replacement of, I think, Ben Colony, actually. I can never say Connolly's name. No idea why. So we're going to go with that, Legia and Rule. I think part of me wants to drop Rule, if I'm honest. Even though, how's Rule got on in his last few games? How's he got on? I swear this used to display goals. Maybe it does display goals and he just hasn't scored. I don't know. That's weird. Definitely used to do that. Who scored recently for us? Rule got one last game. The game before, Connolly and Legia got them. Yeah, I think I'm going to drop Rule. I am. I'm sorry, Rule. You are being dropped, and Ben Connolly can come back into the side. I think we'll play them this way around. I think that's going to suit us best. We'll stick with Griffo and Hernandez there. Robertson, Sargent in midfield. Guerrero, Bruzon, Reyes and Gilbert. It's kind of our standard team with the exception of a little bit of a change in the final third. But yeah, hopefully we can get bouncing back with a win here. This is going to be a tricky game. Lincoln Red Imps, I think they won a game during this live com, so they're now on 18 points. If we could beat them here, to increase the gap to 8 points would be really, really impressive. There's actually just one thing I want to do just before we begin. And this is the launch of a campaign, shall we say. Now, I need your help here. Because if we look at the Gibraltar national team, there's a guy here called Liam Walker. And he's perhaps the best player in Gibraltar by quite a margin. He's a very, very good Gibraltarian player. 23 caps international level. In real life, I believe he's played in Israel for a bit. Yeah, you can see here he's also played in Spain. And he's not a bad player by any means. And in FM, he's particularly good. However, he doesn't want to talk to me and he doesn't think we can match his ambitions in terms of as a club. Now, here's the thing. This guy, Liam Walker, very good player, played against Germany in the Euro qualifiers. He has 120 followers on Twitter. So what I want you to do is I'm going to link his Twitter in the top of the description if I remember. If not, if you can find a link to it and write it in a comment or just write his @. I think it's @LiamWalker_10 off the top of my head. Please tweet him begging him to sign a contract with me. Because I've been approaching him for the last 6 months since his contract expired at Lincoln Red Imps, begging him to come to me. And he just keeps turning me down and he keeps saying that we don't match his ambitions. And Liam, I just want you, basically. So if you could, tweet him, basically ask him really nicely to sign for me, that would be absolutely amazing. And who knows, he might get back to us because obviously he only has 120 followers. He's obviously a pretty darn good footballer in terms of as far as Gibraltarians go. So you should go give him a follow as well as just spamming him. But if we could get a little kind of get Liam Walker to Gibraltar Apex kind of Twitter campaign going, that would be absolutely incredible. He's probably going to be well confused if he gets loads of tweets about a Gibraltarian club he's just never heard of. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players to enjoy this game and go out there as favourites. We are the favourites according to the bookies. We're taking on a Liam Walkerless Lincoln Red Imps. I'm hoping we can get a win here to bounce back after that Europa point result, because that was disappointing. I should have gone defensive. I knew I should have gone defensive and I didn't, and now I regret it and will regret it for the rest of the season, particularly if we now lose the title by 1 point. But if we could get a win here, that'd be great. Lincoln Red Imps, as I mentioned, they've struggled. They are really the big force in kind of Gibraltar. They're kind of on par with kind of Manchester United a few years ago. But we need a win against them. And Connolly might have a chance here. The 16-year-old, he might be 17 now. He is a former Red Imps man. It's worth noting, however, squandering that chance. We might have a chance from this set piece though. Guerrero, unfortunately, can't latch on the end of that cross. And that's going to be all she wrote. But Connolly with a chance there that he didn't take against his former club. I want him to go out there and prove to them why they should have kept hold of him. And he might have a chance here. He's squandered another one. Right now, Lincoln Red Imps think they're absolute geniuses in selling him to us, because that is poor. Although I thought he was going to get another bite of the cherry. Unfortunately not. Ball will be cleared here. I don't think there's going to be anything emerged from this highlight. Red Imps bringing the ball forward. No, just pointless endings to the highlights. Although we might have another chance here. Leguia, can he go inside? Sargent's there. Options on ahead. Hernandez can't get to it. Sargent though, back to Reyes. Reyes whips in the ball. Back post. Griffo with the goal. Take a bow, my son. Makes it 1-0. Neil Griffo, or Monk Griffo, we call him Griffo. We have done for 2 years. It's his nickname. But he gets the goal for us there. And well, I've got to say thank you very much. That was a great finish by him, the left mid. His 3rd goal of the season. Not had the crazy goal return that he kind of had last year and the crazy contribution to the team. And I don't know who that was who wanted to steal the goal off him. It was Leguia. But Griffo called for it and he buried it. And he makes it 1-0. We should be more than 1 goal ahead, really. But looking at the stats, Lincoln Red Imps yet to have a shot on target. We've been very, very strong in this game. And at 1-0 up, we're doing well. I'm going to tell the players I'm happy with their performance. They look absolutely bloody delighted. Excellent stuff. Hopefully now we can push on with this. I should point out, actually, the Gibraltar FA actually have a YouTube channel where they actually upload, I believe, pretty much every single match in the Primera division on YouTube in its entirety for free. I don't know if you can watch the matches live on YouTube. I don't think they stream them yet. Maybe that's something they're going to plan on doing. But if you want to kind of see some of these teams in action, it's kind of a weird concept that you can just watch full matches on YouTube of kind of a division of this size. But at the same time, it's pretty cool. And I think their Gibraltar FA kind of YouTube channel doesn't even have that many subscribers. So it could be a cool thing to raid, or certainly check out if you just want to kind of see some of these players in the flesh playing and I guess feed your imagination some more. But anyway, we're on the attack here. Leguia going forward, out wide to Glenn Gilbert, whips it back post. Hernandez is there. That was an insane save by Mick Elwee, I think his name was. That was a crazy save. I thought that was in. Right, 20 minutes left. I'm yet to make any subs. For like some live comms, I just get a little bit carried away and I enjoy it far too much and just forget. So let's make some changes here. We're going to bring on Roberts. We're going to bring on Joseph Munoz to play the kind of defensive mid-role for us. Hernandez is looking pretty tired out on the right. Unfortunately, we've not really got a backup option to bring on for him this game. I'll tell you what, our strikers haven't had the best out of the office. Ben Connolly can come off for Sanchez Ruel. Do I want to make another change? A few of our players look pretty tired, but we've not really got the options on off the bench, and there's so many of them tired that to single out one just seems unfair. So we'll hold on to that last sub just for now. 5 minutes left. If we could hold on to this, that would be fantastic. Leguia might have a chance to double the lead and kill this game off. He hits it, side netting. Would have been a crazy goal. Looking at the stats, 5 clear-cut chances. We should be miles ahead in this game. We should have dominated this game. It is just going to finish 1-0. Perhaps a little bit disappointing to only be 1-0, but at the end of the day, it's a win against one of the big teams here in Gibraltar at home, and I'm not going to complain one little bit. Reyes with the Man of the Match award. Very pleased with that performance, boys. And considering the disappointment of the first game of this live com, to win this one is decent. College Europa beat Europa points. That kind of actually works out quite nicely in our favour as we now build up a 4-point gap over the two kind of joint second place teams. And well, we are just about halfway through the season now. There's 27 games, of course. We're now 13 games in, and to be honest, I'm very happy with where we are. It's a very competitive league. There's still a load of teams who are going to be hot on our heels, but a win against Red Imps is a massive result that inches us potentially closer to a Gibraltar Primera Division title. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up this live commentary from me. As I mentioned, go tweet Liam Walker, beg him to come and sign for me. I'm hoping that he's going to sign for me. I feel like when I did my 2014 save, I had a very similar situation to this, except he decided he'd rather retire than come and play for me, which was a little bit depressing, if I'm honest. He basically thought he was better off just quitting football than coming and playing for me in Gibraltar, which I did cry about. I'm hoping that isn't going to be the case here and we can get our hands on him, because he'd be an exceptional midfielder for us to have in our team. But anyway, that is all from me. If you've enjoyed this episode, smash the like button. Go check out the Gibraltar FA YouTube channel. They've not paid me to say that before someone goes, sell out. I just think it's kind of cool that you can watch all these matches in full on YouTube. But yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed, smash the like button as I already say. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.